Water is one of our nation's most valuable resources. It's becoming increasingly important that we protect the quality of our inland waters and wetlands for the use and benefit of future generations. That's why if you're planning work in a bay, river, stream, or wetland, a permit may be required. Since 1890, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has been involved in regulating certain activities in the nation's waters. But what exactly are the nation's waters? Well, waters of the United States, including essentially all surface waters, such as navigable waters and their tributaries, interstate waters and their tributaries, wetlands adjacent to these waters, and impoundments of these waters. Up until 1968, the primary focus of the Corps' regulatory program was the protection of navigation. Yet today, by combining several new laws and judicial decisions with long-time regulations, the Corps' regulatory program now provides for the consideration of all concerns of the public. This means that environmental, social, and economic impacts all play a role in the Corps' decision-making process to either issue or deny permits. Here's how a couple of specific regulations help protect our nation's valuable water resources. One of the oldest is Section 10 of the Rivers and Harbors Act. This act from 1898 requires approval prior to the accomplishment of any work in or over navigable waters of the United States or which affects the course, location, condition, or capacity of such waters. Typical activities requiring Section 10 permits are the construction of piers, wharves, bulkheads, dolphins, marinas, ramps, intake structures, and cable or pipeline crossings, and dredging and excavation. Section 404 of the Clean Water Act, established in 1972, requires approval prior to discharging dredged or fill material into the waters of the United States or wetlands. The purpose of the Section 404 program is to ensure that the physical, biological, and chemical quality of our nation's water is protected from irresponsible and unregulated discharges of dredged or fill material that could permanently alter or destroy these valuable resources. Typical activities requiring Section 404 permits include depositing fill or dredged material in waters of the U.S. or adjacent to wetlands, site development fill for residential, commercial, or recreational developments, construction of revetments, groins, breakwaters, levees, dams, dikes, and weirs, and the placement of riprap and road fills. Notice that Section 404 protects not only waters, but wetlands too. Wetlands are areas characterized by growth of wetland vegetation, such as cattails, rushes, willows, or cypress trees. Wetlands are also where the soil is saturated during a portion of the growing season or the surface is flooded during part of most years. Wetlands generally include swamps, marshes, bogs, and similar habitats. These areas usually occur over black, mucky, hydric or water-bearing soils and may show evidence of frequent flooding. Examples of these include water lines on tree trunks, evidence of waterborne debris, or other indicators like crayfish burrows or algal mats. It all comes back to this. Any person, firm, or agency, including federal, state, and local government agencies planning to work in navigable waters of the United States or dump or place dredged or fill material in waters of the United States, including wetlands, must first obtain a permit from the Corps of Engineers. Permits, licenses, variances, or similar authorization may also be required by other federal, state, and local statutes. Okay, let's talk a little about the different permit types, the permitting process, and what you can expect. Overall, there are two kinds of permits that the Corps issues: general permits, or GPs, and standard permits, or SPs. Let's start with the first type of SP, known as an individual permit. This type of permit is typically required for projects that will have more than a minimal impact on the environment. Individual permits are issued following a full public interest review of an individual application for a Department of the Army permit. A public notice is distributed to all known interested persons. After evaluating all comments and information received, final decision on the application is made. The permit decision is generally based on the outcome of a public interest balancing process, where the benefits of the project are balanced against the detriments. A permit will be granted unless the proposal is found to be contrary to the public interest. Processing time usually takes 60 to 120 days unless a public hearing is required or the project is particularly complex or controversial. The second type of individual permit is a letter of permission, or LOP. LOPs are a type of permit issued through an abbreviated processing procedure. This includes coordinating with federal and state fish and wildlife agencies as required by the Fish and Wildlife Coordination Act. This type of permit also requires a public interest evaluation, but without the publishing of an individual public notice. LOPs are for minor projects that cause no considerable environmental impacts or pose no significant opposition. These types of projects include minor dredging and construction of private docks and some commercial marinas. Now for general permits. One form of GP, known as nationwide permits, authorizes a category of activities throughout the nation. These activities are generally minor in nature and involve filling less than 1/2 acre of wetlands. Nationwide permits are valid only if the conditions applicable to the permit are met. If the conditions cannot be met, a regional or individual permit will be required. Typically, nationwide permits include repair rehabilitation, or replacement of a structure or fill, which was previously authorized and currently serviceable. Nationwide permits are also for installation of utility lines placed across a waterway or wetland, bank stabilization, and minor wetland fill for home sites, driveways, or road crossings. Another type of GP is the Regional General Permit, or RGP. RGPs are similar to nationwide permits, but are issued on a regional basis by the district engineer for a general category of activities. This is when the activities are similar in nature and cause minimal environmental impact, and the general permit reduces duplication of regulatory control by state and federal agencies. Activities authorized by regional general permits include boat docks, boat houses, boat ramps, minor dredging, and some types of shoreline protection. These permits are usually processed in 45 days or less. When requesting a permit from the Corps, you have to fill out what's known as a Joint Permit Application Form. This form varies from state to state. That's why even though the Mobile District Regulatory Office covers activities in Alabama and parts of Mississippi, each of these states will have its own application form. You can obtain the application from one of the Corps offices or fill out the forms through this website. It's important that you provide the complete information in the requested format. This information will be used to determine the appropriate form of authorization and to expedite evaluation of your proposal. The district will begin to process your application immediately upon receipt of all required information. You will be sent an acknowledgement of its receipt and the application number assigned to your file. You should refer to this number when inquiring about your application. Your proposal will be reviewed, balancing the need and expected benefits, against the probable impacts of the work, taking into consideration all comments received and other relevant factors. This process is called the Public Interest Review. The Corps' goal is to reach a decision regarding permit issuance or denial within 120 days of receipt of a complete application. However, some complex activities, issues, or requirements of law may prevent the district engineer from meeting this goal. In addition to your application, you'll need to include detailed drawings of your proposed project. Drawings should be as clear and simple as possible, must be black and white, and submitted on 8.5 by 11 paper. The drawings should show the project in plan view, like looking down from above, and in cross-section, as if you were viewing it from the side. We'll also need a vicinity map to locate your proposed project. The vicinity map you provide will be printed in any public notice that is issued and used by the Corps of Engineers and other reviewing agencies to locate the site of the proposed activity. You may use an existing road map or USGS topographic map as a vicinity map. Please include sufficient details to simplify locating the site from both the water body and from land. Now bear in mind, because each application is as unique as the project proposal, all these items may not apply to your situation. So let me stress again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact your local Corps office. Thanks for your time today. It was a pleasure helping you, and good luck with your proposal.